Oh boy, what a good day that was. I am pretty thoroughly exhausted, I gotta say. Spent about 8 hours in the saddle today on the 2024 Yamaha MT-09. Oh, what a good bike this is. They've always been good bikes, but they were pretty rough when they first came out, the MTs. You know, back in 2014, they used to call it the Yamaha light switch because the throttle was just on or off. Things have improved dramatically since then, and you know, at whatever it is, at $10,599, not bad value when you consider that, you know, most of the competition is at least $1,000 more. That's always been one of Yamaha's strong points, is its price point. So you get a lot of bike for the money, but what's it like to ride? Well, in a word, it's awesome. It's always such a great bike to ride. It's such an enjoyable thing to ride. It's a real playful bike, you know, like it doesn't scare you too much because it's real nimble and light on its feet, but it just has performance for days. You know, you kind of wonder, and I thought to myself a bunch of times today, it's like, why would you ever need a 4-cylinder 1000? Like, they're almost obsolete, really, when you consider that these things will go just as fast or go as fast as you'll need to go, and they knock off a bunch of weight so you can get into the corners a lot nicer. It turns really, really well. It's graced with Bridgestone S23 rubber, which I absolutely love. And if you want to go and check out the review of that tyre, head up there and go see that. We rode that tyre in Kyalami in South Africa and spoke to all the engineers, so you can get all the lowdown about that. The big thing with the new MT is revised bodywork and rider position. We've seen over the last couple of years, especially, naked bikes have just sort of taken the edge off a little bit in terms of where the seating is. Your pegs are 9.5mm higher and 30mm rearward, so 30mm further back, and the bar's lower as well. So that allows you to just sit slightly forward from vertical. Now, conventional naked bike thinking used to be the fact that you would sit like this. You would literally sit bolt upright. And bikes like the Yamaha Tracer, they still do that. Whereas something like this just takes a little bit of that weight off your tailbone, and it means that you can ride these things for hours and hours and hours. I mean, we knocked out 8 hours on the bike today, and considering that I've got the back of a 90-year-old, I actually feel pretty good, all things considered. That extra weight off your tailbone and then onto the front of the bike doesn't just do wonders for your own body, it does wonders for the steering as well. It allows you to load that front tire up a little bit more, it allows you to turn the thing a little bit quicker, gives you a bit more weight over the front, a bit more stability, especially during braking. Regarding the suspension, Yamaha has gone up slightly in spring rate in the front just to give it a little bit more support, especially under brakes, which is a good thing. And they've also done a different rear linkage. It's been a little while since I've ridden an MT, so I can't really comment on if it's better or worse. I'm sure it probably is better. All I can tell you is what it's like as it is, and I was quite impressed. It didn't really have any criticisms that I could come up with. Once I jacked a bit of preload into the back end, it at least held the back end up a bit more and stopped it sinking down so it wouldn't run wide and that kind of thing in corners. So look, I was pretty happy overall with suspension. We didn't mess around with it too much. I tried to ride these things as much as standard spec as possible. But yeah, overall, you know, turning and handling is quite good. It's a little bit rough in terms of its bump absorption. If you hit big potholes, you will feel it. It's not the smoothest, and so it doesn't take out as much of the shock of sharp edge bumps on that high-speed compression circuit that I would have liked. You know, conversely, when you get on the throttle and then you're worried about the thing sinking down, it doesn't do that as much. So, you know, it's a bit tit for tat, I guess, with the suspension. One of the big things too is the new front master cylinder from Brembo, which is a really, really good master cylinder. Like, it's not quite race spec, but look, it's probably the best for this price point that you're ever going to get. I bash on about master cylinders all the time because they are relatively cheap and manufacturers almost always scrimp on them. Thankfully, Yamaha has not done that with the new one, so you actually get some decent brake feel for once. Happy days. Ride comfort over a long day is pretty good, although I've got to say, the seat, I don't know. I reckon if I were to buy one, the first thing I'd be doing is going and getting the accessory seat. It's not too bad, as I said before, you know, I rode for 8 hours or so I don't feel too bad, but it does get quite hard, that seat. One of the great things about this new design, new subframe as well, you know, they've got all this new bodywork and bits and pieces, makes it look all racy. But this is a toolless design. So you can take the rear seat off, you can take the front seat off, and you don't need Allen keys. simple. Why didn't they think of this before? You know, it's like BMW all those years ago put numbered suspension clickers on there, which Yamaha still hasn't done. Don't know why, but at least, you know, bit of keep it simple, stupid principle here has actually shined through, which is really nice to see. Now, the part that hasn't really been changed too much is that motor. Didn't need to be changed. That CP3 motor is just magnificent. It's so damn good. 5 riding modes, so you got rain, street, sport, and 2 custom modes, and you can change, you know, your power modes and all that kind of stuff within your 2 custom modes. So you can do anything. Plus, you can turn traction control off, you turn your wheelie control off, and you can stick that thing on the back wheel for days. It is probably the easiest bike in the world to do really good wheelies on, and in my mind, that makes it a winner. And I'm super pumped because I may or may not have done about 400 wheelies today, which, you know, thank God there was no one around to bust me. Thank you. New for 2024 is also the new quick shifter. Now, the quick shifter has been taken from the Tracer GT, the Tracer 9 GT. It's matched to gears 3, 4, 5, and 6. They are new, they're redesigned, although they are the same ratio. So look, I'm not going to sit here and tell you exactly what they've done in terms of, you know, all the different metallurgy tricks and the tricks of the trade, because I simply don't know. But the gear shift is, you know, it's good. It's not like the smoothest of shifts, but it's direct. It's not very light. So, you know, if you're expecting sort of like a race spec quick shift, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. This is one good thing about it, is that you won't snick a gear accidentally. Interestingly too, with the new quick shifter, you can downshift when you're accelerating. So say you come out of a corner and you're in 4th gear when you're supposed to be in 2nd gear, you just keep the thing pinned and you stamp back down through the gears, go back to 2nd, revs go right up, and then you go, then you're off on your way. You can also do it the reverse, although I don't really know why you would want to switch up gears when you're trying to slow down, but, you know, each to their own, I guess. The 3-cylinder MT is probably the best sounding motor on the market. I just love that 3-cylinder motor. It is so damn good. And up the front here, you've got new acoustic vents. Now, these 2 vents here at the top of the tank, these were taken directly off the MT-10, and it gives that bike such a rad induction roar. It just, it sounds so good. You know, you get the crack the throttle and get that rad induction roar, and then you get the big exhaust noise. I mean, it's just a, you know, orchestra of sound. It's just bloody fantastic. Absolutely love it. Now, it wouldn't be a new motorcycle without your ability to pair your phone to it. You can get your maps, you can check your text messages, you can do all kinds of stuff, you know, all the stuff that I don't like doing on motorcycles, although I don't mind having the maps. That's all done through the Y Connect and the Garmin Street Cross app that you need to sort of, you know, once you buy this thing, you'll be able to pair your stuff up and you'll be off and on your way. Relatively easy to use, although, you know, as I say, I don't really use them that much because I'm swapping and changing a lot with different bikes. But look, I don't like the fact that you got to have 2 separate apps. I'm not a big fan of that, but look, overall, I think once you've got the bike and you've figured it out, you'll be pretty happy with it. You can Bluetooth your settings to the bike, so, you know, if you're sitting there in your garage and you go say, okay, tomorrow I'm going to, you know, go up a canyon road and it's going to be wet. All right, I can just Bluetooth it and send it to your bike, and you're on your way. So look, you know, that's a cool little thing from Yamaha. Also, don't forget you get standard cruise control. Happy days. You know, cruise control now pretty much should be standard on basically every bike, as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it should be an accessory on anything. It should just come with it. But you do get it with this thing, which is great. You don't get heated grips. Bit of a bummer, but, you know, they've got to save a bit of money somewhere. Overall, for just under $11,000, you get a hell of a lot of motorcycle for your money with the MT-09 from Yamaha 2024 edition. Revised in the right areas, not changed dramatically, because, you know, the 23 was a fantastic bike. Although I've got to say the biggest difference for me is the comfort at the end of the day. The fact they've lowered the front a little bit, lowered the handlebars a bit, changed the seat, changed the pegs a little bit, and just taken that weight off your tailbone, that makes a huge difference. And I think a lot of people might find that not as big a deal as me, but man, after a long day, I'll take this one any day. So look, it sounds good. It goes like hell. You know, I mean, it sounds great. It sounds good. It sounds absolutely awesome, especially when you get those induction vents. Lovely. Yeah, for 11 grand or just under 11 grand, nice bike from Yamaha, real nice.